Do you know that sometimes it is not your beauty, not your status, and not even your wealth that draws people towards you? It is your words. One sentence, even 5 simple words, can shift the atmosphere, soften hearts, and open doors that seemed forever closed. Words are energy. Words are power. And if you learn how to place them with presence and sincerity, you will find that you no longer need to chase people. They will be drawn to you effortlessly. There is something profoundly powerful about the human heart, and it is often awakened by the simplest recognition. We underestimate how much people are craving to be seen, truly seen, beyond their roles, beyond their achievements, beyond the masks they wear every day. Most people are living in a world where they feel invisible. They walk through the streets, they sit in their offices, they go through their homes, and though they may be surrounded by many faces, they carry the silent weight of being overlooked. When you can offer your presence in such a way that someone feels recognized, you are not just attracting them, you are healing something inside them. And it does not take grand gestures, it does not take endless effort. Sometimes it is as simple as looking at a person with genuine eyes and letting them know that you see them clearly. These words are not mere sounds, they are mirrors. They reflect back to a person their existence, their worth, their humanity. You are saying to them, you are not invisible, you are not forgotten. I see the light that is inside you. When you do this, it is like opening a door that allows them to breathe freely again. Think about the times in your own life when someone acknowledged you deeply, not for what you did, but for who you are. Maybe it was a teacher, maybe a friend, maybe even a stranger. They noticed something in you, they spoke to you as if your presence mattered. And in that moment, you felt your shoulders lift, your spirit rise, and a connection was born. This is the power of recognition. Attraction is not a mystery. It is about giving people what they rarely receive, but always desire. When you say with sincerity, I see you clearly, you are not flattering. You are awakening. You are reminding them of their unique place in the world. And the more you practice this, the more people will want to be near you, because they will associate you with clarity, with visibility, with the rare gift of being acknowledged. But seeing is not only with the eyes. To see clearly means you are attentive not only to someone's appearance, but to their essence. It means you look beyond the surface. You notice the way their energy shifts when they are happy or when they are burdened. You pay attention to the pauses in their speech, to the things they are not saying, but are silently asking you to understand. When you cultivate this level of awareness, people feel it instantly. They feel that around you they do not need to pretend. They do not need to put on their masks. They feel safe to be human. This is why recognition is magnetic. It gives freedom, and freedom is one of the most attractive forces in the world. Now, once you can see someone clearly, there is something even more profound that you can offer, the reminder of their value. Every human being is carrying doubts. Every human being questions their worth at some point. Society often trains us to measure ourselves by achievements, by possessions, by appearances. And when we fall short of these standards, we secretly feel inadequate. Yet inside, there is a quiet longing. Does anyone see my value beyond what I can provide? This is why when you tell someone, you are truly valuable, something in their spirit shifts. Because value that comes from the outside is fragile. It can be taken away. But value that is affirmed from within, through words of sincerity, has the power to anchor a person. Consider how many people in your daily life are working hard just to prove themselves. They wake up early, they exhaust themselves, they sacrifice their health and even their joy, hoping someone will finally say, "You are enough." But the truth is, their worth was never in question. They were already enough. The tragedies that they forgot. So, when you remind them, you are not creating their value, you are revealing it. You are shining a light on what has been hidden under the dust of their doubts. This is why people are drawn to those who affirm them. Because affirmation does not flatter the ego, it heals the soul. It is like pouring water on dry ground. And let us be clear, when you speak these words, they must come from truth. Empty compliments push people away, but authentic recognition pulls them in. When you say, "You are valuable," you must have first taken the time to notice what makes that person unique. Maybe it is their kindness, maybe their resilience, maybe their creativity, maybe their quiet strength. When you name it with honesty, it pierces through the layers of their self-doubt. Suddenly, they feel seen and honored, and a bond is created that no superficial attraction can compete with. Attraction that is based on appearance fades. Attraction that is based on affirmation lasts. Because people never forget those who remind them of their worth. Now, imagine the transformation when recognition and value are combined with belief. To recognize someone is to see them. To affirm their value is to honor them. But to tell them, "I believe in you," is to empower them. Belief is like fire, it spreads. Most people carry dreams, but they also carry fears. They question if they are capable, if they are strong enough, if they are wise enough. Sometimes they have the vision, but not the courage. Sometimes they have the desire, but not the confidence. And when you stand before them and you speak with sincerity, "I believe in you," something awakens. It is as if you are lending them your strength until they can find their own. Think about history. Behind every great figure, behind every leader, every artist, every thinker, there was often someone who believed in them before the world did. Sometimes it was a parent, sometimes a teacher, sometimes a friend, sometimes even a stranger. That belief became fuel. It became the unseen energy that pushed them forward when doubt tried to hold them back. This is the power you hold when you offer belief to another human being. You become a mirror of their potential. You reflect back to them not only who they are now, but who they could become. And there is no greater attraction than being around someone who makes you feel stronger, braver, and more alive. Let us not underestimate this. Many people are surrounded by criticism. They hear what they cannot do. They are reminded of their failures. They are told to be realistic, to stay small, to not aim too high. In such an environment, dreams wither. But when they meet someone who says, "I see you, I honor your value, and I believe in you," it is like meeting fresh air after being suffocated. They will want to be around you, not because you are flawless, not because you are extraordinary in appearance, but because you give them hope. You remind them of what they are capable of. You light a spark inside them that even their own doubts cannot extinguish. But to speak belief requires responsibility. You must not give it carelessly. Do not promise belief in empty words. Instead, truly look into the heart of a person. See their struggles, see their effort, and recognize even the smallest signs of their strength. When you acknowledge that your belief carries weight, it is not naive, it is rooted in observation. People feel this difference. empty encouragement feels light, real belief feels heavy, grounding, and life-changing. And when you practice it, when you choose to walk through life with eyes that see, with words that affirm, and with belief that empowers, you will notice that people begin to circle around you. They seek your presence not because of what you give materially, but because of what you awaken spiritually. And here is the subtle truth. When you learn to speak in this way, you are not only transforming others, you are transforming yourself. Because to see clearly requires your own awareness. To affirm value requires your own compassion. To believe in others requires your own faith in life itself. These practices refine your own spirit. They make you attentive, they make you kind, they make you strong. And so the attraction you generate is not a technique, not a trick, but the natural result of becoming a deeper, more awakened human being. Recognition, affirmation, belief. These are not just words. They are forces. They are invisible bridges between hearts. And when you master them, you will no longer worry about how to attract anyone, because you will embody the kind of presence that everyone is naturally drawn to. There is a kind of strength that does not come from muscles, from possessions, or from achievements. It comes from the knowledge that you are not alone. Human beings, for all their independence, carry within them a longing for connection. Even the strongest warrior, even the most disciplined monk, even the most determined leader has moments when they long to hear someone say, "I am with you." Those 4 simple words can transform despair into courage, fear into strength, loneliness into belonging. When someone feels abandoned, when they feel like the burden is theirs alone to carry, they begin to sink into isolation. But the moment you remind them that you are by their side, that they do not need to walk alone, you give them a lifeline. You do not need to solve their problems. You do not need to remove their challenges. Your presence itself becomes enough. Consider the times when life weighed heavily on your own shoulders. Did you not feel that everything would collapse, not because the difficulty was too great, but because you felt no one understood, no one cared, no one stood beside you? And then imagine the difference when even one person whispered, "I am here, I am with you." The challenge remained, but your heart became lighter. You found energy you did not know you had, simply because you no longer felt invisible in your struggle. This is the power you can give to others, and this is the magnetism that draws others toward you. Attraction is not always about admiration. Often it is about comfort. People are drawn to those who give them the peace of knowing they are not walking alone. But to say you are with someone is not only about words. It is about showing up. It is about listening when they speak, about being silent when they need silence, about holding space without judgment. It is easy to claim loyalty when life is easy, but true companionship is tested in difficulty. When you stand beside someone in their dark hours, they will never forget you in their brightest ones. And what is more magnetic than loyalty? What is more attractive than the rare assurance that when the world walks away, you remain? When you embody this, you do not need to chase connection. Connection will seek you because every soul is searching for a safe place to belong. When you combine presence with significance, you unlock something even deeper. To tell someone, "You matter to me," is not a small thing. It is not flattery. It is not casual. It is a declaration of importance. Many people go through life questioning if their existence makes a difference. They wonder if anyone would notice if they were gone, and though they may not speak it, this quiet fear eats away at them. That is why when you look into someone's eyes and say, "You matter to me," it fills a space in their heart that nothing else could reach. It is not just about affection, it is about identity. It reminds them that their life has meaning, not in a universal abstract way, but in the concrete reality of your connection. Think of how many people you pass each day who are silently asking, "Do I matter to anyone?" It could be the colleague who works tirelessly but goes unrecognized. It could be the parent who sacrifices daily yet feels unseen. It could be the young person chasing approval or the elder who feels forgotten. When you remind them of their importance, you ignite a light inside them. They stand taller, they walk with more confidence, they smile with more authenticity, and they are drawn to you, not because you gave them anything material, but because you gave them back to themselves. To matter is to exist. To matter is to belong. And when you give someone that gift, you become unforgettable in their story. But let us go even further, because to truly attract and connect with others requires something beyond recognition, beyond affirmation, beyond companionship. It requires empathy. To say, "I understand your pain," is not just to acknowledge someone, it is to enter their world. Pain isolates. When someone suffers, whether in body, in mind, or in spirit, they often feel that no one can understand what they are going through. And this sense of isolation makes the pain heavier than the pain itself. But when you step into that space and let them know you can feel, you can sense, you can share in their burden, you lift that invisible weight. You make them realize they are not alone in the valley of suffering. Understanding pain does not mean you have lived the exact same story. It means you are willing to sit in the discomfort of another without running away. It means you do not rush to fix. You do not minimize. You do not judge. You listen. You feel. You acknowledge. And sometimes that is enough. When you say, "I understand your pain," you are telling them that their emotions are valid. Their struggles are real, and they are not weak for feeling what they feel. In a world where so many are taught to hide their wounds, empathy is revolutionary. It allows people to breathe, to drop their masks, to show their scars without fear of rejection. Empathy is attractive because it is rare. Many chase pleasure, many chase distraction, but few are willing to sit with suffering. When you can do this, you become magnetic in a way that is beyond the superficial. People trust you. They feel safe to reveal themselves. They feel seen not only in their strengths, but in their vulnerabilities. And this kind of bond cannot be broken by distance, by time, or by change. It is a bond woven in the fabric of humanity itself. To attract someone through empathy is to touch the deepest part of their soul, the part that longs not just for admiration but for understanding. And here is the truth. These three ways of connecting, through presence, through significance, and through empathy, are not techniques. They are not tricks to manipulate others into liking you. They are practices of the heart. They require you to slow down, to pay attention, to open yourself. They demand sincerity. But when you live this way, you become a person others naturally gravitate towards. You no longer have to chase attraction because you embody what every soul is searching for: companionship in loneliness, significance in a world that overlooks, and understanding in a life that often hurts. So when you say to someone, "I am with you," you are giving them strength. When you remind them, "You matter to me," you are giving them significance. And when you assure them, "I understand your pain," you are giving them healing. And the human heart, when it feels strong, significant, and healed, will never forget the one who gave it such gifts. Respect is one of the rarest currencies in human interaction. Many seek love, many desire admiration, but beneath it all, every soul longs to be respected. When you communicate respect, you touch a dimension of a person that is deeper than approval or affection. Respect affirms dignity, and dignity is the foundation upon which attraction is built. When you tell someone, "I respect your time," you are doing more than acknowledging their schedule. You are acknowledging their life, because time is the one resource that cannot be regained. Wealth can be lost and rebuilt. Status can be diminished and regained. Health can be nurtured back to strength. But time, once gone, never returns. To respect someone's time is to respect their very existence. So many people walk through life feeling that others use them, that their energy is taken for granted, that their presence is consumed without thought. How many times have you yourself felt disrespected because someone wasted your time, ignored your commitments, or demanded more than was fair? It leaves you feeling unimportant, secondary, as if your life did not carry weight. This is why when you show the opposite, when you make it clear that their time matters, you instantly elevate yourself in their eyes. They sense that you are not careless with what cannot be replaced. They sense that you recognize the sacredness of their existence. And this pulls them toward you, because they feel valued in a world that often treats them as disposable. Respecting time is not only about punctuality, it is about presence. When you sit with someone and you silence your distractions, when you put away the endless pull of your devices, when you offer your undivided attention, you are respecting not just their minutes, but their being. You are telling them, in this moment, you are more important than the noise of the world. And such presence is magnetic. People will always be drawn to those who make them feel like their life is worth pausing for. Attraction does not come from constant pursuit. It comes from the quiet strength of attention. But respect must be partnered with listening. To respect someone's time but not listen to their voice is incomplete. Listening is not the same as hearing. Many people hear words but do not truly listen. Listening requires stillness, patience, openness. It means you do not prepare your reply while the other is speaking. Instead, you absorb, you reflect, you feel what they are saying. When you say to someone, "I am listening to you," and then prove it with your attention, you awaken a kind of connection that most have never experienced. Because in truth, most people feel unheard. They speak but are interrupted. They share but are dismissed. They cry but are silenced. To be listened to is to be validated. It is to be reminded that your thoughts matter, your feelings matter, your voice matters. Consider the feeling you have when someone listens deeply to you, when they lean in, when they hold space without judgment. Do you not feel lighter? Do you not feel closer to them? Even if words are few, listening is not only about information, it is about intimacy. When you listen, you step into another person's inner world. You show them that their perspective matters, that their story is worth your time. And people are irresistibly drawn to those who listen because they associate that person with relief, with release, with the rare gift of being understood. If you want to attract anyone, learn to listen more than you speak. Learn to hold silence more than you fill it. Learn to make space for voices that tremble with the weight of unspoken pain. This is how bonds are built. And yet, listening alone is not enough if gratitude is absent. People can feel hurt, they can feel respected, but without gratitude, the connection remains incomplete. Gratitude is the recognition of effort. When you tell someone, "I appreciate your effort," you are saying that what they did was not invisible. You are acknowledging the energy they gave, the sacrifices they made, the steps they took, no matter how small. And this is profoundly attractive because most people labor without acknowledgement. They give to families, to workplaces, to relationships, and often receive little more than criticism in return. But when you appreciate them, you set yourself apart from the rest. Think of the last time someone sincerely thanked you for something you did. Not casually, not out of politeness, but with genuine recognition. Did it not make you want to do even more for them? Did it not create warmth in your heart? Gratitude fuels motivation. It strengthens loyalty. It deepens bonds. And that the person who consistently expresses appreciation will never struggle to attract others, because everyone longs to feel that their efforts are seen and valued. Appreciation is nourishment for the human spirit, and people naturally gravitate towards those who feed their souls rather than starve them. Let us consider how these three forces work together. Respect creates a foundation of dignity. Listening builds a bridge of intimacy. Gratitude fills the heart with nourishment. Together, they create an irresistible presence. To respect someone's time is to tell them their life matters. To listen to them is to tell them their thoughts matter. To appreciate their effort is to tell them their actions matter. And when you combine all three, what you are truly saying is, you matter. Those who make others feel this truth become magnetic without trying. They do not need strategies or tactics. Their very presence attracts because they give what every human soul desires. But let us also remember that these practices must flow from sincerity. Respect without authenticity becomes formality. Listening without care becomes manipulation. Gratitude without heart becomes flattery. The world is full of hollow words, and people can feel the difference. To truly attract others, you must embody what you speak. When you respect someone's time, do not only say it, show it by being present. When you claim to listen, do not only nod, truly absorb what is spoken. When you express gratitude, do not only thank, feel the appreciation in your heart as you say it. This authenticity is what makes the words powerful. Without it, they are empty. In practicing this, you will find that attraction is no longer something you chase. It becomes a natural byproduct of the way you live. People will begin to notice that around you, they feel dignified, they feel heard, they feel valued. And this is the essence of human connection. It is not built on glamour, on wealth, or on performance. It is built on respect, listening, and gratitude. The one who learns these truths carries an invisible magnetism because they fulfill the deepest desires of the human heart. So, never underestimate the simple act of honoring someone's time. Never neglect the power of listening with presence. Never forget the strength of appreciating effort. These are not just habits. They are pathways to connection. They are the language of the heart. And when spoken sincerely, they open doors that nothing else can. There is a kind of beauty that has nothing to do with appearance, nothing to do with clothing, nothing to do with how perfectly someone has arranged their life. It is the beauty that comes from the impact one person has on another. When you look into someone's eyes and say, "You inspire me deeply," you are not only giving them recognition, you are igniting something powerful within their spirit. Inspiration is life-giving. It awakens the sleeping parts of the soul. To tell someone they inspire you is to remind them that their presence carries light. And when someone knows they inspire, they are drawn closer to you because you have elevated them from ordinary existence into meaningful influence. Most people go through their days unaware of the effect they have on others. They assume their actions are small, their words are unnoticed, their struggles are private. But then someone comes along and reveals that the way they live, the way they speak, the way they endure has sparked something in another. This changes everything. It shifts a person from feeling insignificant to realizing they carry power. And that realization creates a bond with the one who spoke it. When you tell another, "You inspire me deeply," you are not flattering them. You are confessing truth. You are honoring the ripple effect of their being. And this attracts them because they want to be around those who see not only their existence, but the impact of their existence. But inspiration is not only about big achievements. It is often hidden in the small things. The way someone keeps going despite pain, the way they smile after hardship, the way they show kindness when they themselves are tired. These unnoticed acts are often the most inspiring. When you point them out, when you recognize the quiet strength in another and tell them it inspires you, they feel valued in a way that goes beyond surface attraction. They feel that who they are, not just what they do, has touched your life. And this becomes magnetic. People will always move towards those who remind them of their light. Yet, to be inspired by someone is not enough. You must also give them the greatest gift of acceptance. To say, "I accept you fully," is to dissolve the heavy chains that so many carry. Every person, no matter how confident they appear, harbors a secret fear, the fear of rejection. The fear that if others saw their flaws, their weaknesses, their mistakes, they would no longer be loved. And so people wear masks. They hide parts of themselves. They play roles, hoping to be enough. This constant performance is exhausting, and it keeps them from truly connecting with others. That is why when you look at someone with open eyes and open heart and say, "I accept you fully," you are not just speaking words. You are granting them freedom. Acceptance does not mean ignoring flaws or pretending weaknesses do not exist. It means acknowledging them and still choosing connection. It means looking at the whole of a person, the light and the shadow, the beauty and the scars, and saying, "You are worthy as you are." When people feel accepted in this way, they relax. They no longer feel the need to pretend. They can breathe, they can reveal, they can trust. And trust is the foundation of all attraction. Without acceptance, attraction is fragile. It depends on constant performance. But with acceptance, attraction becomes solid because it is rooted in truth. Think of how rare this is in the world. Families often pressure children to live up to certain images. Relationships often collapse because partners cannot accept each other's differences. Society constantly demands that people fit into its molds. In such a world, unconditional acceptance is revolutionary. It creates a sanctuary. People are irresistibly drawn to those who accept them without condition, because with such people they feel safe to be human. They feel safe to stumble, to struggle, to grow. And when someone feels safe around you, they will never want to leave that space. But acceptance is not the end. There is another dimension, one that amplifies attraction even further. The gift of joy. When you tell someone, "You make me smile," you are giving them evidence that their presence brings lightness into your life. Smiles are contagious. Laughter heals. Joy is magnetic. To associate someone with joy is to make them feel that their existence carries brightness. And everyone, no matter how strong they appear, longs to know that they bring happiness to another. Consider how often people feel like a burden. They carry insecurities that whisper, maybe I am too much, maybe I am draining, maybe I am not enough. When you smile at them and tell them, you make me smile, you erase those doubts. You replace the weight of being a burden with the gift of being a blessing. Suddenly, they no longer wonder if they matter. They know they do, because they have brought joy into your life. And this realization bonds them to you. Joy is powerful because it creates memory. People remember not always what you said or did, but how you made them feel. If you make someone smile, if you lighten their spirit even for a moment, you plant yourself in their memory. And memory is attraction's strongest ally. The mind returns again and again to those who made it feel alive. This is why people chase laughter, why they seek out those who bring ease, why they are drawn to those who brighten heavy days. Attraction is not always about intensity. Sometimes it is simply about joy. But joy, like inspiration and acceptance, must be sincere. Do not say, "You make me smile," unless you truly mean it. Forced joy is emptiness. But when you speak it from the heart, when you allow yourself to be touched by another's presence, it resonates deeply. They feel it. They know it. And it creates an invisible thread between you, a thread woven with lightness and truth. Now imagine when all three, recognition of inspiration, the gift of acceptance, and the joy of shared smiles, are combined. You are telling someone, "You lift me, I accept you, and you bring me joy." Who would not be drawn to such a presence? Who would not want to stay close to such a person? Inspiration tells them they have meaning. Acceptance tells them they are enough. Joy tells them they bring light. These are the deepest desires of the human heart. And when you fulfill them, you embody magnetism. And yet, do not forget to give these gifts requires cultivation of your own spirit. You cannot see inspiration in others unless you are open to being inspired. You cannot offer acceptance unless you have learned to accept yourself. You cannot find joy in others unless you have awakened joy within. The path of attraction begins within. It is not about learning tricks to influence others. It is about purifying your own heart so that your words carry authenticity. When you live in this way, the words flow naturally. You will not need to force them. You will not need to calculate. They will rise from you because they are the truth you live. Inspiration, acceptance, joy. These are not just ways to connect with others. They are ways to live. They remind us that attraction is not about pulling people into your orbit, but about creating a space so luminous, so safe, and so joyful that people want to step into it on their own. When you live in such a way, you discover that the greatest magnet is not strategy, but authenticity, and the greatest force is not performance, but truth. There is a unique kind of attraction that does not come from charm, beauty, or even shared interests, but from the ability to honor another person's inner world. Too many people today are surrounded by noise yet starving for acknowledgement. The human spirit hungers not for attention, but for recognition, not for flattery, but for depth. When you can offer someone the words that remind them of their wisdom, their peace, and their heart, you become unforgettable to them. People do not stay close to those who only entertain them. They stay close to those who make them feel whole. When you tell someone that you value their wisdom, you are speaking directly to their soul. Every person carries lessons within them shaped by years of experience, struggle, and quiet observation. Most of the time, these lessons remain unspoken, or worse, dismissed. Society often places a premium on speed, on youth, on novelty, and overlooks the richness of insight that comes from lived experience. Yet the one who has learned to value wisdom sees beyond the surface. When you look at a person and affirm their depth, you give them a mirror in which their highest self is reflected. Imagine speaking to an elder who has walked through both loss and triumph, who has carried burdens with silent strength, and you say, "Your wisdom matters." Immediately, the light in their eyes shifts because you have seen what most overlook. It is not admiration for what they own, nor is it praise for their appearance. It is recognition of something timeless within them. This principle applies not only to the elderly, but to every person you meet. Even a child has wisdom. Even someone broken carries truths that were earned through their pain. When you open your heart to honor the wisdom in another, you draw them closer because everyone desires to feel that their voice carries weight. People do not always want agreement, but they want to know that their experiences, their lessons, their reflections are not wasted. Wisdom, when acknowledged, is like a treasure chest being opened. It releases not only respect, but also deep connection. And when you become the person who consistently sees the wisdom in others, you never walk alone, because people are naturally drawn to those who make them feel significant beyond superficial measures. There is another level of attraction that very few understand. Most people chase excitement, drama, and intensity, thinking that these are the keys to human connection. But the deeper truth is that peace is more magnetic than pleasure. In a world where everyone is busy chasing stimulation, the person who brings calmness becomes a sanctuary. When you tell someone, "You bring me peace," you do more than compliment them. You reveal to them that their presence itself has healing power. And what could be more attractive than to be known as someone whose presence soothes the storms of others? Consider how most relationships break apart not because of lack of passion, but because of lack of peace. People can handle boredom for a while, but they cannot survive in chaos forever. The soul seeks harmony. The mind longs for rest. If you can make someone feel that with you, they can exhale that they don't need to perform, that they don't need to defend themselves, you have given them the greatest gift of all, peace. Think of the times you have been surrounded by noise, by conflict, by constant demands, and then you meet someone whose very presence feels like still water. Without even trying, you are drawn closer because their energy reminds you of balance. That is why people often fall in love not with the loudest, but with the calmest. Not with the one who dazzles the crowd, but with the one who makes them feel at home within themselves. These words, "You bring me peace," are powerful because they affirm what every soul is secretly searching for. People want to be desired, yes, but even more, they want to be a safe place. To be told that their presence is not draining but uplifting, not chaotic but grounding, awakens in them a desire to stay close to the one who spoke it. You are not simply saying they are attractive, you are declaring that their essence heals. And once someone realizes that you see them as a source of peace, they will never want to lose that connection. But peace and wisdom alone are not enough to bind hearts deeply. There is another force, even more tender, that opens people's soul's trust. When you look into someone's eyes and tell them, "I trust your heart," you are offering them one of the rarest gifts in this world. Too often, people are praised for their talents, their skills, their beauty, or their accomplishments. But to trust a person's heart is different. It means you see their intentions. It means you believe that even if they stumble, their essence is rooted in goodness. These words carry a weight far beyond flattery because they remove the burden of constant proof. You are telling them, you do not need to earn my approval through perfection. I trust the core of who you are. Trust is a magnet stronger than desire. Desire can fade, admiration can shift, but trust creates a bond that weathers storms. When someone feels that you trust their heart, they become protective of that trust. They rise to honor it. They become more careful with you, not out of fear, but out of reverence. And because trust is so rare, the one who offers it sincerely stands out. Imagine how few people in life are truly trusted. Most people live surrounded by suspicion, by conditions, by doubt. To hear from someone, I trust your heart, is to breathe a sigh of relief. It is to feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to open doors that were locked. And here lies the hidden power. People are not attracted to perfection. They are attracted to safety. They are drawn to the ones who make them feel both seen and secure. When you value their wisdom, you elevate them. When you tell them they bring you peace, you soothe them. When you affirm your trust in their heart, you bind them to you in loyalty and devotion. Together, these words are not simply phrases. They are forces of energy that penetrate deeper than appearance, wealth, or status. It is important to understand that these words are not tricks or techniques. If they are spoken without sincerity, they lose their power. They must flow from a heart that truly sees, that truly appreciates, and that truly trusts. Wisdom can only be honored if you are humble enough to recognize that you do not know everything. Peace can only be appreciated if you yourself are willing to be still. Trust can only be given if you release the need to control and embrace vulnerability. In this way, the words you speak become a reflection of the inner work you have done. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of such words. When you tell someone you value their wisdom, you encourage them to share more, to teach more, to shine more. When you tell someone they bring you peace, you remind them of their gift, and they begin to embody it more consciously. When you tell someone you trust their heart, you empower them to act from their best self. In other words, your words can call forth the highest version of another person. Attraction is not manipulation. It is resonance. And the right words create resonance at the level of the soul. So many people spend their lives trying to impress others, yet the truth is that what people crave is not to be impressed, but to be embraced. They want to be valued, not for what they produce, but for who they are. They want to know that their presence makes a difference. They want to know that someone believes in their goodness. When you can give this, you become unforgettable. You become the person they cannot ignore, not because you demanded attention, but because you touched the deepest parts of their humanity. And perhaps the greatest wisdom is this: when you give such recognition, such peace, such trust, you do not only attract others, you also elevate yourself. For to see wisdom in others, you must awaken your own. To honor peace in others, you must cultivate calmness in yourself. To trust another's heart, you must first be willing to trust your own. These words, though spoken to others, are ultimately mirrors reflecting your own growth. And that is why they carry such power. You will find that the ones who master this are never alone. Their presence is magnetic, their relationships are deep, and their influence is lasting. not because they chased people, not because they forced attention, but because they understood that attraction is born from recognition, peace, and trust. These are the three rivers that flow into the ocean of true connection. And when you learn to speak to the soul instead of the ego, you will never again wonder how to draw others close. They will come to you willingly because you have touched them in a way the world rarely does. There is something profoundly moving about recognizing the quiet impact people have on our lives. Often, human beings walk around carrying doubts, wondering if they are noticed, if their presence makes any difference at all. Many carry invisible burdens of feeling replaceable, overlooked, or insignificant. Yet one of the greatest forms of attraction is born when you give voice to what others silently long to hear. That their existence matters, that their strength is seen, that life is better simply because they are part of it. These words are not decoration, they are nourishment. They go beyond charm and beyond flattery because they carry truth. When spoken from the heart, they can create bonds deeper than any physical beauty or material achievement could ever achieve. Imagine sitting across from someone and telling them that they have taught you much. At that moment, you are not just giving them praise, you are handing them a legacy. You are acknowledging that their life, their choices, their words, their example has left a mark upon your own path. People rarely realize the impact they have on others. A teacher spends years pouring into students and may never know how much their encouragement saves someone from giving up. A parent sacrifices silently without realizing that their patience became the very foundation of their child's resilience. A friend offers advice once, and that advice reshapes an entire future. When you tell someone that they have taught you something, you awaken them to their own influence. It gives them a sense of fulfillment because human beings are designed to pass on wisdom, to contribute to the growth of others. The deepest longing of the heart is not to accumulate, but to give. And when you make someone aware that their giving has shaped you, they feel a sense of significance that no material reward can equal. This kind of acknowledgement draws people towards you because it connects to one of their greatest needs, the desire for legacy. Everyone wants to know that they will not be forgotten, that something they said or did will echo beyond their presence. When you express to someone that you carry part of their teaching within you, you are telling them that their existence extends beyond themselves, that they are alive in the way you live, think, or act. This is a kind of immortality, and it makes a bond unbreakable. For how can someone turn away from the one who carries their imprint within their soul? Attraction becomes natural because it is rooted in gratitude, and gratitude has a magnetism stronger than desire. Alongside acknowledgement comes admiration. Human beings flourish when they feel admired, not for superficial things, but for the qualities that reflect their essence. To tell someone that you admire their strength is to see beyond appearances and recognize the battles they have fought. Strength is rarely loud. It is often quiet, forged in silence, born in nights of struggle that no one witnessed. Strength is the mother who rises each morning after tears in the night, the man who continues to provide even when his heart feels empty, the friend who chooses kindness though they are carrying pain. Too often, these strengths go unnoticed because the world rewards achievement, not endurance. But when you speak the words, "I admire your strength," you shine a light on their hidden victories. You tell them that you see what others overlook. People are not drawn to those who only flatter them, They are drawn to those who truly see them. Strength is one of the most intimate qualities a person has because it tells the story of their suffering and their perseverance. When you acknowledge it, you are not just praising them, you are validating their journey. You are telling them that their struggle was not in vain, that their endurance did not go unseen. This affirmation builds trust because to admire strength means you have observed their character, not just their performance. It is a recognition that touches the soul more deeply than any compliment about appearance or skill. And once someone feels that their strength has been honored, they will feel safe to let their vulnerability appear because they know you respect the core of who they are. Think of how attraction works in such a moment. When someone tells you they admire your strength, you do not feel used, you feel elevated. You do not feel like an object of attention. You feel like a person of worth. You are reminded that your pain, your scars, your resilience all carry meaning. And so, naturally, you draw closer to the person who gave you that gift. Admiration. When genuine is a form of nourishment, it feeds the soul, and souls always lean towards the ones who feed them. Yet there is a level of connection even greater than being acknowledged as a teacher or admired for resilience. It is to hear someone say that life itself is better because of you. These words have a power beyond all others because they tie your existence directly to joy, to meaning, to light. When you tell someone that they make life better, you are affirming that their presence transforms the ordinary into something richer. You are telling them that they do not simply exist, they enhance existence. And this is perhaps the greatest gift one person can give another. Consider how often people doubt their worth, not just in relationships, but in life itself. There are countless individuals who wake up questioning whether their absence would even be noticed. They wonder if their existence carries weight, if they are making any real difference. Now imagine the impact of hearing the words, "You make life better." These words dissolve doubt. They anchor the soul. They are proof that their life has ripple effects beyond what they can measure. It tells them that the world is brighter because they walk in it, that their laughter, their presence, their care, their being has value far beyond measure. This kind of affirmation is not only powerful for the one who receives it, it is transformative for the one who speaks it. When you acknowledge that someone makes life better, you train your heart in gratitude. You begin to see the richness in people instead of their flaws. You awaken your own sense of humility because you recognize that your joy is not built by yourself alone, but by the presence of others. This recognition deepens your connections because gratitude is the soil in which love, respect, and loyalty grow. And when gratitude is spoken, attraction is inevitable because every human being longs to know that their presence has meaning. What unites these truths is the reality that people do not fall in love with surfaces, they fall in love with significance. They are drawn not to those who seek to impress, but to those who honor them. Words have power, yes, but only when they carry sincerity. To tell someone they have taught you much is not just to flatter, but to truly allow their lessons to live through you. To say you admire their strength is not to inflate their ego, but to respect their scars. To affirm that they make life better is not to charm them, but to awaken them to their impact. These are not empty words. They are mirrors reflecting back the highest truth of another's being. And when you live in such a way that you regularly offer these truths, you become magnetic without trying. People will gather around you, not because you demanded attention, but because you gave it. They will love you not because you made yourself desirable, but because you made them feel valuable. In a world where so many chase validation, the one who gives it sincerely becomes irresistible. You will find that connections deepen, loyalty strengthens, and relationships become grounded, because at the core of every heart is the longing to be seen, admired, and affirmed. In the end, attraction is not about chasing, it is about giving. It is not about proving yourself, but about recognizing others. It is about using words as vessels of truth rather than tools of manipulation. The one who learns this art speaks less but means more. They do not waste words. They place them like seeds in the soil of another's heart. And those seeds, once planted, grow into bonds that are not easily broken. This is why when you tell someone they have taught you, when you admire their strength, and when you affirm that they make life better, you are not simply speaking, you are shaping reality. You are engraving meaning into their soul. And people are always drawn towards those who make them feel alive, who make them feel significant, who remind them that their existence is a gift to the world. The greatest truth about human connection is that it is not built on appearance, wealth, or the pursuit of attention. It is built on words that come from the heart, words that recognize, uplift, and affirm. People are not truly searching for perfection. They are searching for meaning. They long to feel seen, to feel valued, to feel that their presence makes a difference. When you tell someone that you see their wisdom, when you remind them that they bring peace, when you place your trust in their heart, when you acknowledge their lessons, admire their strength, and affirm that they make life better, you give them what the world so often withholds: significance. And when you become the person who gives significance, you no longer need to chase attraction, because it flows toward you naturally. Human souls are drawn not to those who shine the brightest, but to those who make them feel that their own light is worth shining. The power of 5 words, spoken with sincerity, is enough to build bridges, heal wounds, and open doors that no amount of force could ever open. In the end, the magnetism you seek is not found in taking, but in giving, not in impressing, but in recognizing, not in controlling, but in honoring. And when your words carry truth and your heart carries sincerity, you will find that you do not merely attract people, you transform them.